ओके, सो कई बार शॉर्ट नोट आ जाता है कि सर्विसेज के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्या है. अगर सर्विसेज के फीचर्स की बात करें, देयर आर 4 मेन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द सर्विसेज. दैट इज फर्स्ट इंटेंजिबिलिटी, सेकंड इंसेपरेबिलिटी, थर्ड वेरिएबिलिटी एंड फोर्थ इज पेरिशेबिलिटी. ओके, तो इंटेंजिबिलिटी क्या होता है कि जो सर्विसेज हैं बेसिकली आर इंटेंजिबल, दैट इज दे कैन नॉट बी सीन. Services being acts, deeds, and performance can be experienced but not possessed. This is a service unlike a good cannot be sampled, seen, touched, and felt before their consumption. So, for instance, it is impossible to sample surgery, travel, and theater performance. So, similarly, an insurance cover both for a life or a car or the service provided by a marriage counselor or consultant cannot be seen, cannot be touched or smelled. So, on the other hand, the tangibility of the television set or a mobile phone allows customer to see, touch, hear, and even smell them. So, the results of the service experience are discernible to only those customers who experience it. A sample class by a teacher, sample consultation of a doctor, sample experience of a hotel, or a sample flight is distinct from what it purports to be sample of. So basically, the sampled event is different from the service event. That suggests it being a sample of. Each service experience is distinct and unique. So service tangibility is the fundamental reason that their marketing assumes different dimensions from physical products. Batson considers it as a very critical distinguishing feature. Intangibility can have two aspects that implies lack of touchability and mental intangibility, that means difficult to grasp something mentally. So basically, it cannot be touched, it cannot be seen, it cannot be felt is the meaning of intangibility. This makes service buying difficult for the customer. Service buyers therefore bank upon clues to form judgment about marketed services. The extrinsic elements that surround a service are often used by consumers as an indicator of quality of service. For instance, a hotel's quality is judged by tangible elements such as building, lawn, lobby decor, painting, staff dress, and lighting, etc. So ये था आपका first feature. Okay. So next आता है आपका inseparability. Second feature is inseparability. Okay, goods being physical entities are separable from their production systems. For instance, a mobile phone may be manufactured in China and packed, stored, and shipped to the market where it is sent to the end customers. Basically, जहां इसको end customer को sold करना है. So goods are separable from their producer in terms of place and service. अगर हम बात करें तो जो वो goods है, जो चाइना का वो मोबाइल फोन है, वो producers in terms of time और place separate हो सकता है, लेकिन services cannot be separate. Whereas services don't allow this flexibility. They are not inseparable from their producers. Suppose I'm teaching you today. So ये जो मैं सर्विस तुम्हें प्रोवाइड कर रही हूँ, क्या ये मुझसे सेपरेट हो सकती है? नो. This knowledge is inbuilt in me, na, so it cannot be inseparable. For instance, a surgeon surgery, flight of an airline, makeup of an artist, hotel stay cannot be separated from the producers. So this inseparability between the service product and the service producer unfolds unique challenges for service marketers. Next, the lack of separation doesn't allow services to go to markets without taking service production system along with it. This makes interaction between consumer and the service production system essential for its creation and marketing. For example, health services require patients to go to health clinics, and a traveler must check in an aircraft in order to be able to use these services. Or on the other side, customers don't go to the Nokia factory or the Toyota's plant to buy their products. So the lack of inseparability in services blurs the boundaries between the production system and markets. So in marketing of the goods, the production that takes place in the factories and goods travel to the markets for the sale. However, in services, this sequence is thwarted because of inseparability. So there are basically two options. Either customer move to the service system, or service system moves to the customers. When patients, students, travelers move to hospitals, schools, and aircraft, respectively, the market moves to the production system. Or on the other hand, when hotels open branches and doctors pay visit to the patient of the production system moves to the market. So next है आपका inseparability makes centralized production difficult in services. This is a radical departure from goods marketing. Good production is generally centralized at some locations in order to reap the advantage of large scale. Services are performed in real time. Inseparability makes customer provider interaction mandatory in case of services, which further makes operations and marketing intersect with each other. Services, therefore, are co-created services experiences. This often breeds conflict between the two functions. Absence of their conflict resolution often sit at the heart of the poor customer satisfaction. The interaction between the provider and the customer may differ in terms of intimacy and the involvement. So interaction between doctor and the patient is intimate and involving, whereas in retail it is not. So ये था आपका inseparability. नेक्स्ट आएगा आपका वेरिएबिलिटी. अगर वेरिएबिलिटी की बात करें तो फिजिकल गुड्स आर प्रोड्यूस विद अ हाई डिग्री ऑफ स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन. ऑब्वियसली स्टैंडर्ड मार्क होते तभी आप गुड्स को बाय करते हो, फिजिकल गुड्स को. So they are factory produced or assembled in the large number with the enormous consistency. So it is rare to find two cakes of soap like pears or two pieces of car like alto different from one another. So however, this kind of similarity is near impossible in services. For example, two visits to a doctor or two lectures even of a professor are never exactly same. So two separate stays at particular hotel are unlikely to be an exact replica of one another. मान लो फर्स्ट टाइम आपने होटल में भी एक ही सेम होटल में 2 दिन स्टे किया ना, तो जो फर्स्ट डे आपको एक्सपीरियंस होगा मे बी सेकंड डे डिफरेंट हो. Variability is inherent in services because of their peculiar characteristics, including intangibility and inseparability. There are several reasons that make standardization of services difficult. First, Intangibility prevents setting up of precisely different defined standards for the service product, their conformance and control. The advances in quality like zero defect has been possible due to their tangible character. Due to their tangible character. Or physical goods have tangible dimensions that permit setting up of quality standards, deviation measurement, and their minimization. Second, service variability is caused by human involvement and customer-provider interactions. So services are basically produced and consumed in the real time. Now, this is the variability. Unlike good services cannot be produced and then quality checked, the lack of separation between production and consumption prevents post-production quality control. A major difference between the product marketing and service marketing is that we don't control the quality of our products, as well as a PNG control engineer on a production line can control the quality of his product. So when you buy a box of Tide, you can be sure that it will work to get your clothes clean. When you buy a holiday room, you are sure to some lesser percentage that it will work to give a good night's sleep without any hassle. Or people banging, hanging on walls, and all the bad things that can be happen to you in a hotel. So each service episode tends to be unique in its own right. So interaction between customer and the provider cannot be programmed and controlled 100%. So in spite of a highly regimented service delivery process, each customer brings unique psychosocial aspect to a service encounter. तो ये था आपका variability. Next, the last feature of the service is that is perishability. Perishability, meaning basically vanish. These services cannot be stored like goods because of simultaneously of production and consumption. Unlike goods which enjoy separation between production and consumption, services are produced and consumed at the same time. जहाँ पे गुड्स में क्या होता है प्रोडक्शन अलग टाइम पे हो रहा है कंजप्शन अलग टाइम पे हो रहा है लेकिन सर्विसेज में जब प्रोड्यूस हो रही है तभी कंज्यूम हो रही है सेम टाइम पर फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम प्रोवाइडिंग यू द सर्विसेज आई एम प्रोड्यूसिंग इट एंड यू आर कंज्यूमिंग इट एट द सेम टाइम दैट इज पेरिशेबल नेचर. For instance, most of the consumer durable companies accumulate inventories prior to the arrival of the festive seasons. Basically, these inventories allow them to meet overfull demand later when festivals arrive. However, this luxury is not possible for a service marketer. For instance, hotels and airlines cannot create stocks of their rooms or seats to supply them during the time of excess demand. Inventory is not possible in services. Inventory is not possible in services. अगर अब हम नेक्स्ट बात करें lack of inventory greatly reduces flexibility of the service firms in coping with fluctuating demand conditions. The inability to align service supply as per demand situation cause service to suffer from revenue loss when demand exceeds capacity and incur excess cost when demand is less than the available capacity. So consider the case of a typical airline company during the prime travel time during morning and evening between cities such as Mumbai and New Delhi, the demand for travel generally exceeds capacity. Similarly, restaurants have to turn away their customers during lunch and dinner time, and cinema theaters fail to accommodate demand during prime shows. So the unaccommodated customers are lost revenue opportunities. On the other hand, during the non-peak time, aircrafts, restaurants, and cinema theaters face demand conditions far lower than available capacity. So unused capacity is undesirable because assets remain idle. So जो unoccupied theater हुए, airline हुए, and restaurant seats cannot be stored and carried over to cater supply during the time of excess demand. So in service industry, output is wasted if it is not consumed simultaneously. The unused capacity in a service business is rather like having as running tap in a sink with no plug, and the flow is wasted unless consumers or the profession that requires servicing are present to receive it. So good marketers are better equipped to align their supply according to the demand conditions due to their ability to maintain inventories as a buffer. So services, on the other hand, stand to lose due to the absence of the inventories. So ये थे आपके features of the services. अगर इन शॉर्ट समझा जाए तो वही इंटेंजिबिलिटी कैन नॉट बी इजिली डिस्प्लेड एंड कैन नॉट बी पेटेंटेड. इनकंसिस्टेंसी की बात करें तो स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन हार्ड टू अचीव, हार्ड टू सेट अप क्वालिटी कंट्रोल, कैन ओनली प्रेडिक्ट क्वालिटी और डिटरमिन इट आफ्टर द सर्विस इज परफॉर्म. इंसेपरेबिलिटी की बात करें तो हार्डर टू मास प्रोड्यूस, लेस एफिशिएंट देन प्रोडक्शन गुड्स. इन्वेंट्री की बात करें तो कस्टमर्स मस्ट बी प्रेजेंट. और अगर मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी की बात करें तो इंटेंजिबिलिटी में क्या करना चाहिए, हमें प्रोवाइड करने चाहिए टेंजिबल क्लूज. सेकेंड, हमें स्टिमुलेट करना चाहिए वर्ड ऑफ माउथ, यूज पर्सनल सोर्सेज एंड यूज पोस्ट परचेज कम्युनिकेशन. सो बेसिकली दीज आर द मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी टू कम्युनिकेट टू द कस्टमर. सेकेंड पॉइंट बात करें तो इनकंसिस्टेंसी की. स्ट्रेस ऑन स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन एंड परफॉर्मेंस. फोकस करना चाहिए एम्प्लॉय की ट्रेनिंग पे, प्रोग्राम्स पे, परफॉर्मेंस इवैल्यूएशन पे, एंड लास्ट लाइसेंसिंग एंड अदर फॉर्म्स ऑफ द क्रेडेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट्स. सो मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटजी हमें इंसेपरेबिलिटी में क्या यूज करनी चाहिए, नीड्स स्ट्रॉन्ग ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स एंड इंसेंटिव्स, फोकस ऑन द पर्सनल अटेंशन, फोकस ऑन द पर्सनल अटेंशन. और अगर इन्वेंटरी की बात करें तो फोकस ऑन द कन्वीनियंस, सेविंग टाइम, फास्टर सर्विस, एक्सटेंडेड आवर्स, फोकस ऑन कॉम्पिटेंस एंड द एक्सपर्टीज, प्रेडिक्ट करना चाहिए फ्लक्चुएटिंग डिमांड, मैनेज कैपेसिटी टू बैलेंस सप्लाई एंड द डिमांड. सो ये थे आपके फीचर्स ऑफ द सर्विसेज. सो आज हमने काफी कुछ डिस्कस किया, बिजनेस, प्रोफेशन, एम्प्लॉयमेंट, उसका डिफरेंस डिस्कस किया. हमने इंडस्ट्री, ट्रेड और कॉमर्स को पढ़ा, फिर उसका डिफरेंस डिस्कस किया. फिर हमने सर्विस सेक्टर पढ़ा, उसके रीजंस पढ़े कि क्यों सर्विस सेक्टर इतना ग्रो कर रहा है हमारा आज के टाइम में. एंड लास्ट हमने किया फीचर्स ऑफ द सर्विस. सो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड द 10 टॉपिक्स टुडे. नाउ रेस्ट वी डिस्कस इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास. ओके क्लास.